Good morning, everybody. We're going to kind of pick up the last segment of the Cary Grant portrait here that I've been working on. This is kind of where I left off the last time, and about a half hour into it, this is about where we went. I ended up going on another roughly half hour refining it, and so we're going to kind of pick up where I finished. And so this is where I took it for another 25-30 minutes, and you can see I've kind of refined the face a little bit further. I've taken it a little bit further in general and getting the portrait a little bit closer. Keep in mind we're still doing this as a sketch. We're not aiming for perfection here. One of the things I look at this and I look at his nose here, and the angle of the nose is a little bit more like this, where his over here is definitely a little bit more upright, and I notice that, but I'm not going to go into the correcting of all that right now. I've made a few more subtle changes to the colors of the skin, as opposed to, here's the last one, a lot of line work that you can still see here, kind of rough edges, rough everything, and once again I tighten it up a little bit, made it a little more smooth. There's a lot of scribble marks in here. If you look at it, you can really see it almost gets abstract. You can see where there's a little bit more subtle changes. You can see it really tight and close up, and that's just kind of how I do it. If I wanted to, there's brushes within this drawing program that would allow me to kind of smooth it out a little bit more, but I kind of like the look of it here. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm just going to come back in here now and kind of for a few minutes just kind of show you what I do when I'm even painting or when I'm even drawing, and I'm looking for things that are incorrect. Like I'll actually focus in on an area, so I might move in really close here, and I notice that his eyebrow comes out a little bit further than what I've got, so I'm just going to do a quick sample here and shrink that down a little bit, make my brush a little bit smaller, and then just kind of move it, lengthen out that eyebrow a little bit further. And I'm kind of looking around here. What do I see in the mouth area that's not the same here that I see over here? I'm going to just keep moving over a little bit more, and I'm going to do just a little bit. So I'm looking at his hand here, and so we can add just a little bit to the hand. So I'll sample here. So I'm just looking over here at what I've got over here, and I just keep making a little bit changes here, a little bit more changes there. So I'm just really focusing on what the reference has for me to see over here. I just keep moving it over a little, and let's see, a little bit darker sample here, and we just keep moving it over. I'm just observing how wide that hand is. Once again, I'm still trying to keep it loose and a little bit more sketchy, but obviously I've gone a little bit further than like we talked about before, than I probably intended to. And so I'm just observing everything in here, and just trying to duplicate just a little bit of what I see here. Okay. And more in the drawing sense, not so much in the value sense in here. And so this is kind of how I keep building up a portrait. I keep moving around, and I keep trying to see what is it about my portrait that I'm drawing is not quite what I'm seeing in the reference. And that's really what we end up doing. So I look up in this hair. Obviously this hair is not exactly right. Do you remember me earlier on when we were talking about the height of the hair, and I thought, man, there's no way it's that tall. Well, over time I kept raising the height of that hair and raising the height of the hair till it was pretty much where we talked about it. Now what I see here, if you look at it, is if you look where this peak is here, it comes, if you go straight down, where it kind of lands right over this area, straight down for alignment. Now look what happens over here. Straight down, I'm nearly all the way over here. So one of the ways to kind of correct that and fix it is I'll just come over here, and I know that it's right about in this area where that hair should truly land, right about in here. And so I'll just keep kind of moving myself over here. Now if I was on paper and pencil, obviously I'd have to do a bit of erasing, that kind of thing. But it's just an important part of doing the portrait. It's these subtle little things that make a person look more and more like the person you're trying to duplicate. You definitely want to look for the subtleties. It's definitely the subtleties. And one of the things I know, I just look at this and I just know that this nose is wrong. It just is wrong. So I'm going to try and make it a little bit smaller. And just to give you an idea here, I'll just take this, my line tool, and we'll just take a look and see how that lines up, almost straight up and down. Okay, now let's see where we're at over here. It's still pretty much, it's close to being straight up and down, but I can definitely see that I've got an angle going like this that this nose does not have. So I'll just do this. I'll just sample some face. Oops. Try this again. See if I can do that. Here. And the last part, it looks like the darkness comes up a little bit more into here. Let's see what this looks like, and I'll finish it off. One of the things you can't see, I do what's called sampling when I'm using this. I'm just putting, I put my cursor over this, I hold a button down here, and I've just selected that value right there. So that's all I'm doing when you see my brush go out of the screen a little bit. So I really don't want to talk a whole lot more about it. I'm going to do just a little bit of the coat to kind of finish this off, or the suit, I guess is what it'd be more like. So we come in here, and I'm really just observing where's it kind of coming off of this. If I look at this line, it comes straight across, so it's the bottom of his coat's more in this area. And really all I'm going to do is just kind of finish this baby off with value. And kind of call it good. I just wanted to let you know that, just kind of wanted to show you that you can really take these as far as you really want to go. There was nothing wrong with, if you're just having fun, finishing where my last video ended on this. If you wanted to take it even further, I've taken these till I've decided to go into color on them, and that's kind of fun to do too. And really, when I'm doing a portrait for pay, I will do all the preliminary drawings like we've done, all the sketching, and then I'll actually do a black and white of it, and to make sure I get all my values correct, and then I end up, using that to guide when I do the final color part of it. Sometimes when you see the values, it really helps you nail the colors at the same time. So I think that's kind of it for the day. This is, you kind of saw the beginning and the end. A little bit longer video than is normal. So, but you kind of get to see the process a little better also. I think that's it for now. You guys have a great day, and if you have any questions, email me. If you need me to do any demos on these videos, just let me know. Okay, bye-bye.